Hi, everyone. If you don't know me, my name's Kieran Lyons. I'm the Director of Education Programs for To the Top, and I'm also the Senior Essay Advisor. I just came back about a week ago from a 2-week tour of different colleges this fall, as application season is really ramping up. And what I'd like to do today is give you a brief presentation on the different schools I went to, what I got from my visits, and why you might consider them if you are currently applying to colleges or are thinking about doing so in the future, or if your child is doing the same. So if you'll just give me a moment. Here we go. Okay, like I said, my name is Kieran Lyons, and I just came back from these different colleges. Most of the images taken here are taken by one of our clients or by me. This is me flying back from the last trip. I believe that's Phoenix with the lights down there. Okay, so the colleges I'm going to talk about are Wesleyan University, Wake Forest University, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Those are all, and Davidson College. So Wesleyan's in Connecticut, the other three are in North Carolina. And then finally, from a separate trip, I visited the University of the Pacific, which is in Stockton, California, but also has campuses in Sacramento and in downtown San Francisco. Okay, so I'll start with Wesleyan. So this is not a full informational guide. I'll keep this brief. And if you have any more questions about this or want more resources, I'd be happy to provide that to you. So Wesleyan is located in Middletown, Connecticut. It's a small college town. It's a really beautiful environment. It has 2,896 full-time undergraduate students. So it's a small school, not tiny, but it's definitely on the small end. And it is classified as a private liberal arts college and a research university. So it does conduct research, it does offer some graduate programs, but primarily it is a liberal arts college and it doesn't have an active religious affiliation. It is number 17 in the US News and World Report's National Liberal Arts Colleges ranking. It's tied, and it's actually tied with another school I'll talk about in a moment, and it's number 20 in their best value schools overall. Both of those are excellent, and Wesleyan is a very well-known university. So what I took from Wesleyan was that it's a very open place in a wide variety of ways. From the attitude, everyone seemed very friendly. People know each other across departments. The small size and the relatively rural location make it so that everyone gets very close. And I could tell from all of the bulletin boards around that the variety of activities and clubs were even broader than most schools, and most schools have many options. But this openness goes all the way down to the way they've structured the coursework you take in the university. So what they call an open curriculum. There is no core curriculum for any student, and classes are open to anyone, no matter what major, though they might have prerequisites, of course. You can't jump into an advanced chemistry class your freshman year without some sort of experience. This means that if whatever you or the student is interested in, there's very little keeping you from studying it. So you can double major, you can take just a creative writing class if you're a chemistry student. And having experienced a lesser degree of this openness in my own undergraduate experience, I found it really valuable. I took classes in a variety of disciplines, and I actually ended up getting my master's degree in creative writing after taking some creative writing classes, but not majoring in English or writing or anything of the sort. So this can be really great for people who have a variety of interests and want to explore. They also have something that I think is related to this called progressive independence in their housing. So basically all Wesleyan students have to live on campus, and they have a nice dorm situation. But how it works is, as a freshman, you're in what is basically a standard college dorm, and all that you are personally responsible for is cleaning up your space. But the bathrooms are cleaned, the floors are cleaned, everything is basically taken care of for you by the university. And as you progress to your senior year, you get closer and closer to living in essentially a house or apartment style living, where you and your housemates, roommates, or apartment mates are responsible for everything, like people are in the real world. And I think this is a really good way to build independence in a structured way that aligns with the openness I see in Wesleyan, because it really does trust you, the student, to uh, create your own structure in your living situation. Another note, not quite related to the openness, but applying early to Wesleyan, which is by November 15th for early decision one at least, can make a huge difference. 30% of applicants for early decision get a acceptance letter versus only 16% of those who apply regular decision. So if you're at all interested in the openness of Wesleyan University and its really unique character, you should definitely get on that and plan on applying early decision. The last thing is they have what are called cardinal internships. And these are internships which are generally paid and open to international students. They have more internships than their students could possibly take, and there are unique opportunities because of the close ties Wesleyan alums have with the university. So almost every school offers some sort of internship, but I think that the unique character of Wesleyan's students and therefore its alums leads to unique opportunities for internships. And that's a photo of the most famous building on campus, and you can see the scoreboard for the football stadium, which they put right in the middle of campus. It is not a very sports-centric school. They put it there, I think, just so people have to watch football. Next is Wake Forest University. It's on a beautiful campus in just outside Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is a small city. It has 5,000, just over 5,000 full-time undergraduate students, so it's slightly bigger than Wesleyan. And it is a private liberal arts college and research university, just like Wesleyan, meaning that it offers some PhD and master's programs, and there is academic research being conducted beyond the undergraduate level, but that is primarily focused on undergraduate education. It is ranked number 27 in national universities, number 23 in best undergraduate teaching, which I think reflects the focus on the undergraduate experience, and number 25 in best value schools. So up there with Wesleyan and basically all those rankings. It has, what I got from it was, besides it has a very rigorous curriculum, it has great focus on undergraduate experience and education. It has some unique features, like has a strong Greek fraternity and sorority system, and beautiful infrastructure, but it has really amazing travel opportunities. And that's travel anywhere from going to downtown Winston-Salem for their brand new downtown campus. It's an old cigarette factory, and it's very sleek and modern, where the engineering school is housed and some other STEM classes and labs are housed, with a shuttle that goes there constantly all day. But more specifically, they have a really amazing study abroad programs, and they emphasize them to all their undergraduates. About 78% of undergrads at Wake Forest study abroad, which is a really fantastically high level, or high rate. Only 34% of undergraduate students nationally, study abroad. They also have studying domestically, sort of traveling but not abroad programs, such as Wake Washington, which is in Washington, D.C., which involves coursework and internships basically on Capitol Hill, where you learn about governance and the U.S. Politics. And Wake West, which is in San Francisco, which is more STEM and entrepreneurial focused, where you can learn from people in Silicon Valley. In addition to those, they do, of course, have regular study abroad programs. They have exchange programs, and they have, this is the one photo that we didn't take. They actually own houses in, I think it was 8 different countries, where they house people and faculty. This is in Venice, Italy. It is on the Grand Canal, and it is the only university, except for the University of Venice, that has property on the Grand Canal in Venice. So this house is where, if you're a Wake Forest undergrad and you study abroad, and you go to Venice, you could have one of these windows looking out on the largest and most important canal in a beautiful city of Venice. Right next to it on the right is actually a Guggenheim Museum. Next one, very different school. So the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. This is the flagship university of the UNC system, and I'll be calling it UNC from here on out. It is in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, which is a college town, and has 18,303 full-time undergraduate students and many more faculty, staff, and graduate students. So it is a large school. I wouldn't say it's a huge school by public school standards, but it is very large. And it is a flagship public research university. So it offers many PhD programs, high degree of research output, and is very large. So it has all the options that a larger school might offer. It is ranked number 29 in national universities, number 5 in top public schools, and number 10, which is very low, in best value schools by US News and World Report. So that is the famous well at UNC Chapel Hill. You'll see this on all their memorabilia. It is a water fountain actually now. So what struck me about UNC Chapel Hill, as someone who has personally attended or been involved with some very large Southern schools like this, was the real sense of community and the personal attention that they offer. So despite having almost 20,000 undergrads, it still has a 13-to-1 student-faculty ratio, which is what you'll get at any top-tier school, all these smaller schools. They don't have a much better ratio than that. There are over 31 or about 31,000 internship opportunities, which, if you know, there aren't even that many students. So the number of opportunities is really huge, and these are across all disciplines. It is an R1 doctoral university, which is an official designation for the very highest level of research that comes out of universities in the United States. R1 universities are getting the biggest grants. They have the strongest research programs, and often undergrads can get involved in these research opportunities. Many of the professors here will be pulling in millions of dollars in grants to study all variety of things. And most students, undergrads actually, do conduct research while they're here, whether that's humanities or social scientific research, or that's STEM-based research. Next is Davidson. This is in Davidson, North Carolina. It's the smallest one. It's 1,800 full-time undergraduate students, and it is a private liberal arts college, not a research university, although you may have the opportunity to conduct some research or have some publications here. It is tied with Wesleyan as number 17th of the national liberal arts colleges, and it is number 2 in best undergraduate teaching rankings, and number 18 in best value schools, which is comparable to many of the other schools on this list. So what I found interesting about Davidson is it really is unique. It is a liberal arts college with everything that might come along with that. So a focus on academics, a focus on teaching and a small community, but it's also a very strong sports school. The basketball player Steph Curry went there, and 25% of students are Division I athletes. So that's the highest level of athletic competition in college, which is and they, they live with and go to class with and are essentially regular students in every way. This is a very unusual setup for this many high-level athletes to be among the student body. They have a very, very strong honor code, which is, everyone adheres to, and there's a huge level of trust at this school. This honor code even allows you to generally select the timing, self-schedule your final exams and some of your other exams, and maybe even take them where you want. So exams aren't always proctored, and because of the honor code, you can take your exam when you think best, in the afternoon, at night, in the morning, and where you work best. So at maybe in your room, maybe in the classroom, maybe in the library. This is really interesting, and this sense of it being friendly and safe extended everywhere. I have never seen people leave their backpacks so far away from themselves. No one seems worried that anything bad is going to happen, and there's a real sense of security, friendliness, and openness everywhere. Most students, and this isn't all three, but most students in each of these participates in each of these things. Most students, by far, participate in internships. Most study abroad at a level comparable to Wake Forest, and most do go to graduate school. So this is definitely a school that's preparing you for a lifetime of intellectual curiosity, whether you go to graduate school or not. And it has a Greek system, so fraternities and what they call eating houses for women, which are similar to sororities, except there is no bidding process. You actually basically rank which one you'd like to be involved with, and you are assigned to one based on your preferences. And I think it was about 80% of women, of female students, are in an eating house, and most men are in a fraternity. So, and there's also rules about their Greek system where, for instance, they can't have closed events where people who aren't part of that fraternity, sorority, or eating house can't attend. So you get all of the benefits of a Greek system, including community service, support network, with none of the potential drawbacks that you see at other schools with where they're elitist, where they don't let people in, where they throw events only for themselves. So Davidson really has this unique combination of athletics, academics, and social life that you don't see, I've never seen anywhere else. Finally, University of the Pacific. So this is yet another departure from the rest of the list. The main campus is in Stockton, California, which is inland. It's about an hour from Sacramento and about an hour and a half without traffic from San Francisco, from the Bay Area, from the ocean. It has 3,400, about 3,500 full-time undergraduate students. So it is a small private research university. It is ranked number 125 in national universities. So it's not quite in the elite tier, but it is still a strong school for academics and maybe more accessible. And is definitely worth an inclusion on almost anybody's list if they're interested in the majors they offer. And is number 53 in best value school. So it's also another school that is offers an excellent value. So what I took away from this is that it is a small university, but a research university that has opportunities that you don't often get in a university with this few people. It's really rare to see this variety of majors, of programs, of clubs, and of amenities in a small school like this. The San Francisco campus, which is brand new, looks very fancy. It offers, there's where the dental school is housed, and they offer an MS of data science as well. Data science is essentially the highest growing career in the world, or at least it has been recently. Truly explosive growth. And the Masters of Data Science program there is set up to be flexible for international students, for full-time students, and for people who have jobs that they're going to continue to work at while they complete their degree. They have what are called engineering co-ops for undergrads. They are mandatory for domestic engineering students and optional for international ones. They're essentially paid internships that provide you real-world experience in your field, and some of them do turn into permanent jobs. People get hired right out by the people that they did their co-ops with. I was impressed by the way that University of Pacific seems to be creating new programs and innovating. They have, for instance, a program called Media X, which is a form of media studies and production that is across disciplines, with really unique software and hardware for you to use. And for instance, they have a different 5-year master's programs through their business school, including a new one, I believe, in accounting. So you can get involved in these new programs as they come out, and they're really increasing the number of opportunities that you have for shaping your preparation for your career or whatever you go on to do after college. And in general, I felt that there's an excellent student support infrastructure, beautiful library. Everyone I spoke to who was an alum or worked for it seemed to love it, and excellent support in particular for international students. So those are the 5 colleges I visited, and I'm looking forward to visiting more. If you have any questions about these, To the Top offers full service college counseling and educational counseling services. You can also get in contact with me directly with a quick question if you're already a client. I look forward to checking back in with you as I visit more schools, and I wish you the best of luck as you send in your applications, as you support a student as they're doing that, or as you look forward to your next step, maybe next year applying to college. Thank you very much, and I hope you stay warm.